You know, niggas gotta get their priorities together. Got their mind on the wrong things, spending their money in the wrong way.
Trapaholics, real trap shit.
Say you need that car with the rims and a trunk, just like Jim. It's more than life. Yeah.
I'm telling you. Talk to him.
Say you need that LV bag with the belt and the hat.
That's all you got though.
It's more than life. Yeah.
Talk to him. Real.
Say you wanna turn up at the club, like some bottles, impress them girls. It's more than life.
Fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Saints and Appetizers podcast. And who dat? And welcome back. Welcome back. We have some main course for you. And missed you a couple times back for Thanksgiving. Had a little bit too much going on to drop a podcast after I guess it was the close loss, I guess, to the Dolphins, and then right after that, hey, December 6th, my birthday. So December 6th, December 7th. So the 7th was after the Saints beat the Buccaneers in an impressive victory where got us questioning, do we have our franchise quarterback? So it's got me questioning, and maybe me following the Saints or watching them as closely. Up until that point, we didn't think that we had our franchise quarterback, but me dialing it back a little bit, and next thing you know, we got a Saints quarterback rushing for what was it, like 55 yards and 2 touchdowns, and putting the team on his back like I've haven't seen since Drew Brees was the quarterback. So maybe I do need to dial it back a little bit. I always feel that. I'm sure every Saints fan, every sports fan probably feels that way, that like they're the reason that their team is bad. If they're a fan of a team that's bad, they feel like they're bad luck. Or anytime I turn the channel to it, they're winning, but then they go on a 10-point slide or 10 points unanswered type of slide, and then you turn it to something else, and next thing you know, they've tied it back up. So yeah, that's kind of how it feels after I missed out on you guys a little bit on some of these Saints podcasts for during Thanksgiving and on my birthday, and really I'm disappointed in myself too for missing out on the Buccaneers one, because that felt like maybe the Saints' best win all year, and impressive just in the fashion that they did it, and under the circumstances they did it, with crazy weather, and like I said, Tyler Shuck literally putting like the team on his back like we've never seen before. We haven't seen a Saints quarterback do that in a long time. But anyways, that was last week, the Tampa Bay game. Tampa's already played again since then against the Falcons, and they look like they're just in complete disarray with how they lost last night to the Falcons. So, I probably have more hate for the Falcons than I do the Buccaneers, but the Falcons are already eliminated. And then on top of that, the Falcons' first round pick is owned by the Los Angeles Rams. So them winning again and making the Buccaneers harder for them to win the NFC South against the Panthers, who the Saints play this weekend, and seeing Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans throwing a fit on the field and going through the tunnel at the end of the game. That was worth it. That was worth a Falcons win. And like I said, I would be perfectly fine, honestly, with the Falcons like winning out, besides maybe the game that we play them in, just so their pick isn't a top 5 pick or top 10 pick for the Rams, because they don't own it. But anyway, so that's the last couple weeks in the Buccaneers. So we're moving on to this week now. And what we have coming up on this week is the New Orleans Saints versus the Carolina Panthers, the second meeting of these two, and this is the home game for the Saints in the Caesar Superdome, and this is Sunday, December 14th, and it's another one. Man, it seems like half the Saints games this year have been evening games. Like I don't really understand that, especially when it's two teams that are Southern teams. But I guess the Panthers are on the East Coast. But at home. It's at New Orleans, so in Louisiana, so that shouldn't matter at all. I feel like the league or Roger Goodell or the schedule makers did that because they were like, well, we're not giving you any true primetime games, but we'll make you guys seen a little bit more than you would if you were at just playing at 1 p.m. or noon Sunday for what 17 weeks straight or so, or 18 weeks with just the bye thrown in there. So it's just odd, but I don't really like these now that there's been daylight savings time and all that. I don't really like these evening games, the 3:25 p.m. evening games, because heck, if it's a bad game, you waste like your last couple hours of daylight on Sunday watching a horrible performance by the Saints. And so yeah, it's just kind of annoying because it's dark like right after. At least you can go for a walk or something and try to uh, release some stress or something, or go for a drive or something when the Saints play at noon and look terrible, but don't really have that option with them playing at 3:25 p.m. at the Caesar Superdome. But anyways, let's get into this injury report here. So we're mentioning that this was the second matchup of the Saints, and the first matchup obviously was in Carolina, and the Saints pretty much dominated that. Now you could say that was maybe the most dominant performance of the Saints, but it's almost hard to say that a team had a dominant performance when they only scored 17 points. But holding the Panthers 17-7 was impressive, and doing it at home, and just the history of Bryce Young. Bryce Young has just not been a great performer against the Saints, and then him coming into an evening game. The Houdat Saints fans probably well enough sauced up by them, and Phil got a real good feeling good about Tyler Shutt coming into this game around 3:25 p.m. I just don't feel it's going to be a great place for Bryce Young to have his coming out party or his great performances, even though it's hard to predict what you're going to get from Bryce Young and the Panthers, because hell, what since they played the Saints, and he didn't even throw for 200 yards against the Saints. Hell, he's thrown for 300, 400 yards in a couple games and beat teams like the Green Bay Packers and the Los Angeles Rams. So this is just kind of a coin flip type of how this could go, I guess. But anyways, let's get into this. So start with the injury report, and then we'll get on to who we think the MVP is going to be, hot takes and picks and scores. But anyways, so can I get a menu? And so the injury report, it's just nothing to be really concerned about anymore for this season. Just because I guess the Saints really aren't playing for anything or playoffs, but also just the team's not really injured at all at this point in the season. And we say it. It seems like we say it on like every podcast, which, hey, I get to say it here because I haven't done a Saints podcast for what, a week or two. So it's okay for me to say it here again, I guess. But it's just annoying that the Saints are so bad that even though they're pretty much as healthy as they've been in like the past 5 years, but it doesn't matter because they're not any good. But maybe things have improved. Maybe things will get better if we really have found our franchise quarterback in Tyler Shuck, which I'm hoping to believe and wanting to believe. But like some Saints fans that have already given in and say he's the starter for 2026, but I'm still confidently optimistic, I guess, but not confidently, but very, very like cautiously optimistic. Like I want him to be the guy, but I'm just not so sure yet with what 4 or 5 starts under his belt. But anyway, so the injury report, there's really not much of one. So these players, some of these players that are on here hadn't been put on IR yet. So hope to get to see them back in another week or two. But Running back Alvin Kamara has been dealing with knee and ankle, and I think it's knee that he had in the Falcons game. That's really what he's been dealing with here. But supposedly it wasn't bad enough to be put on IR. So I'm guessing we'll get to see Alvin Kamara before the season ends, but he didn't practice all week and it's out. And then safety Justin Reed, knee, didn't practice Wednesday, was limited Thursday and Friday, and is questionable. His game status is questionable. But really, I mean, the Saints' young secondary has not missed a beat without Justin Reed, and that seems like that's kind of been like that all year. Justin Reed, if he's missed a game or he has to come out of the game for an injury or something like that, like I mean, the Saints have been just fine without him, with Jordan Howding, Jonas Sanker. Those guys back there have done just fine, but looks like he's on the mend, and probably we'll see him back in the next week or two. But for more than anything, Justin Reed at this point just adds a veteran leadership, I guess, in the secondary, because pretty much all the other players are 25 years old or younger, or only first or second year players. But I don't expect the Saints secondary to miss a beat if Justin Reed doesn't play. And then tackle Asim Richards, who had been the backup, and he had to be coming in and playing for Talisi Fuaga, who had been out with an ankle. Well, he got his own ankle injury, I guess, in the Buccaneers game, so he had to come out for that, and he didn't practice all week and is out. But luckily, good timing, I guess you could say, tackle Talisi Fuaga has returned to practice. So you won't be having the third, fourth offensive tackle starting in his position. At least to start the game, you'll have your two bookends and Banks and Talisi Fuaga, but he was dealing with an ankle injury of his own and was limited Wednesday and Thursday, then was full on Friday and has no game designation. So we'll get to see our two bookend tackles. So that's nice. Hope it. What I'm hoping it'll lead to, even though we did have the Saints did rush for 139 yards last week and three touchdowns. Like I'm saying, in the hope of Talisi Fuaga returning, I hope that improves the running game. But I mean, they were pretty good last week against the Buccaneers, but hopefully they can just improve on it, and hopefully he helps with that. But one of the players that was a big help in that and part of the improved running game was running back Devin Neal, who's been dealing with an abdomen injury this week, but he was just limited. Yeah, he was just limited Wednesday and Thursday because of it, and then was full on Friday and has no game status. So we should be seeing our starting running back essentially the last couple weeks. And then defensive end Chris Rump, wrist, was limited Wednesday and full Thursday and Friday. And I've actually liked what I've seen out of Chris Rump. I guess he came over from the Chargers when Brandon Staley was the head coach there and like the defensive coordinator there, I do believe. So yeah, I've liked what I've seen from Chris Rump in the rotation for the Saints defensive line and their front seven. But I guess he was dealing with a mild, slight wrist injury, but he was limited Wednesday, but he was full Thursday and Friday and has no game status. So hopefully you get to see more out of Chris Rump. And then defensive tackle Devin Gotchu is just the same old song and dance with him when it comes to his injury report. He's never really injured, but it's just veteran rest day. So he practiced Wednesday, didn't practice Thursday, which is just his veteran rest day, and then full Friday, and then has no game status. So as you can see, the Saints are pretty healthy. Besides, I guess Alvin Kamara and some of the guys that have been on IR, the Saints are about as healthy as they ever are really this time of year. It seems in like the last 5 years, it's usually they'll have an injury report like this, and maybe it's this long, But the problem with it is that none of the players on on the injury report are starters, and the reason for that is because all of them are already on IR. So that's one of the big differences because you got Alvin Kamara, Justin Reed, Talisu Fuaga, Devin Neal, uh, Devin Gotchu, like all those guys are starters or guys that have a pretty good sized role in what the Saints do, but uh, not that many great players on IR, I guess, or just injuries altogether, really. But not a whole lot of difference makers. Not with a team with just 3 wins. All right, so now then on to Carolina, who they're having a pretty good season as well in regards to health injury luck, and maybe that's why they're in the hunt for winning the NFC South, which would be really nice if they would win the NFC South and the Buccaneers won't win it for 5 times in a row. Would be really kind of nice, but they have so start with their injury report. So linebacker Claudian Cyrilus, concussion was limited Wednesday, full Thursday and Friday. And then cornerback J.C. Horn, concussion limited Wednesday, full Thursday and Friday. Center Chad Mays, ankle was full all week, no game status. Safety Lathan Ransom, thumb, full all week, no game status. And linebacker Christian Roseboom, hip/hamstring, full all week, no game status. So besides players that I'm not 100% sure of for the Panthers that are on IR, the Carolina Panthers are about as healthy as you can be, and they're coming off of what, a week 13 or week 14? Yeah, week 13. Yeah, week 13, week 14 bye week. So about as late in the season as you can have a bye. So they should be feeling real good coming into this game, just in regards to them being healthy and then coming off of a bye week, which I think that's probably the last week of bye weeks for teams. So those are the injury reports. Not a whole lot to mention, or not a lot that you can point to be like, oh, well, this is why this team has the upper hand, or oh, this team's beat to hell, or this team's really healthy. I mean, both of them are really healthy. So injury reports, injuries, unless maybe some that might happen in the game, shouldn't be any type of excuse other than lack of talent, I guess. But I mean, the Saints uh, beat them 17-7 in their first matchup on the road at home for the Panthers. But anyway, so let's get into MVPs and hot takes. So these are some of these players I'd been wanting to make my MVP for the week for a little while. Like I think I kind of called out the Tyler Shuck one like maybe a week early, or the Devon Bailey one a week early. Well, the one that I'm kind of glad that I wasn't like wasn't around, or wasn't able to record the podcast for and label this as my guy for my MVP of the game, because he ended up not having a great game after having a good game the week prior against the Dolphins. Charlie Smith, he made a 54-yard field goal in that game, and just the one field goal that he attempted. But in the game against the Panthers, he was 1 for 2, and it was what, like a 48-yarder that he missed, and then he made like a 30-something yarder. But that wasn't the only bad thing that Charlie Smith did. Something that seems to be plaguing this Saints team like all year, like during like special teams, like their special teams issues and things that they do, is that they'll have a good play on offense and maybe score a touchdown or a field goal, and then when they kick off, they'll kick it right into the end zone, or won't get it into the landing zone, and it comes to the out to the 40-yard line or the 35-yard line. And that's what Charlie Smith did in the game against not the Panthers, but the Buccaneers last week. So the Saints go up 24-17, and then right out of the gate he kicks it, and I think, I'm trying to remember if it came out to if it was short of the landing zone and came out to the 40, or if he just kicked it into the end zone and came out to the 35. Uh, for some reason, I think it came all the way out to the 40. I think he kicked it out of bounds or came up short. But yeah, that's just like feels like kind of a that takes away a little bit of your momentum after just scoring a touchdown. Then you uh, hook up your opponent with great field position. Just not a great combination of things to do. So kind of glad that I wasn't able to pick Charlie Smith or just didn't pick him last week because I'd have been wrong, honestly, because I didn't think he had a great game. But so for my MVP for this game, I'm going with Charlie Smith, Saints kicker, who's had just a couple starts under his belt now, but I hope seeing that he'll have a bounce back game, even though he had a great game against the Dolphins where he made a 50 plus yard field goal and then was able to perform and get the Saints an onside kick with the way he helicoptered that thing around the ground. And Devon Bailey was able to slide down and get it. But I don't think I called him for my MVP for that game. But I'm picking him, Charlie Smith, for my MVP in this game against the Panthers. And so it won't take much to get that. Just don't miss a field goal, or at least don't miss one that's like 50 yards and end. But make secure the Saints with at least 3 points off of a made 50 yarder and be 100% on all extra points. That being if the Saints score any points in this game or score any touchdowns in this game. And then on to hot takes. The Saints are going to have a fast start again in this game. So whether they get the ball first or get the ball second, they're going to score a touchdown on their first drive. So, maybe try to make a habit of that. Maybe try to carry that over into 2026 would be kind of nice. But yeah, just a fast start on offense. But say the Panthers get the ball first, the Saints are going to stop that drive, not allow points on the Panthers' first drive. So just trying to start fast and maybe try to get the lead and go end to end with the lead from start to finish with the lead, and like never secure, never give up the lead at any point would be a nice way to watch this game. It would be a comfortable way to watch a Saints game, to enjoy a Saints game this season. So yeah, so a fast start would be a nice thing to see again, because we've only seen it like twice this year where the Saints don't give up points right away on like their opponent's first two drives and are able to get some points on their first couple drives, especially a touchdown. And then we at the start of the show, we're talking about Shuck. We're liking what we're seeing out of Tyler Shuck, and it just takes one good performance or one gutsy performance in a monsoon against a division opponent and a couple rushing touchdowns where it looks like you're faster than everyone on the field, even though you're like a 6'6", 220-pound quarterback, for people to fall in love with you and feel like the Saints are right back on track and have their franchise quarterback. So yes, all of that is true for the most part from what we've seen out of Tyler Shuck. But there's one thing that I would like to see him do and improve that we kind of saw a little bit from Spencer Rattler early on in the season, that he was able to avoid sacks a little bit better, to where you'd only maybe get sacked once or 0 times in a game. Well, that's kind of been the issue with Tyler Shuck. He's been getting sacked 3, 4, 5 times in pretty much every game he started this year. And so something I would think would probably go a long way with the Saints winning this game against the Carolina Panthers would be Tyler Shuck. He's only going to get sacked once or less times in this game. So he's only going to get sacked once or 0 times in this game. So I think that would go a long way with the Saints probably securing a victory in this game. But I mentioned how I really would prefer the Panthers to win this game, or not win this game, but win the division. So it's almost like, do I want the Saints to win this game, or would I rather prefer them to lose? Because yeah, it kind of keeps the Saints kind of where they are in their draft positioning, but it also gives the Panthers like a game and a half or a full game in front of lead against the Buccaneers, and they still play them twice. So those would be great games to watch going down the line. So yeah, it's hard to say, but uh, I feel like if we get more good performances from Tyler Shuck, more gutsy performances from Tyler Shuck, performances in games where it feels like the quarterbacks literally put the team on his back and won. I don't think I really care about having a top five, even a top 10 pick then, because you really don't need a top three pick or so then if you have your franchise quarterback. And all of that that I just mentioned would kind of lead to and make it out as if the Saints have found their guy in Tyler Shuck, which I would really hope so. And it's just the positivity one week makes, one gutsy performance in a monsoon can make from a guy like Tyler Shuck, that the whole Who Dat nation and all the Saints fans, there's just a lot more positivity after people absolutely just hated the Tyler Shuck pick originally because he's old and injury prone. Well, he's done a good job in at least staying healthy. But for my pick and score in this game, we talked a little bit about the Saints maybe getting like a fast start here and going from coast to coast with the lead, having the lead and winning from coast to coast, which they weren't able to do that in the first game against the Panthers. Just like every game, it seems like this season, that was one where the Panthers scored on, it was either the first or the second drive, and it was a drive that the Saints had stopped to where I think the Panthers would have just been able to kick like a long field goal, but a bad roughing the passer call on Carl Granderson, I think, gave the Panthers a free 15 and a first down, and then that ended up leading to their touchdown. So the Saints still, even in that game where they won 17-7, had to come back from a 7-point deficit. But I think this game is going to be kind of similar to that. But I'm thinking we're going to get the lead from start to finish. The Saints are going to take the lead and keep it from start to finish in this game, and it's going to be similar type of point spread in regards to. I don't think the Saints aren't going to drop 30 points or anything like that on the Panthers. Pretty normal for them to just barely score 21 points or just even 20 points this year. I think they're only averaging like 18 points a game. So maybe now that Tyler Shuck's got a little more comfortable in the Saints offense, and this is the second time he's playing the Panthers, so maybe that'll lead to a couple more points, and maybe the Panthers will perform a little bit better than they did the first time against the Saints, because we've just mentioned how Bryce Young seems to have pretty poor performances against the Saints. But I just don't think I don't see Bryce Young coming in here and throwing for 400 yards on the Saints secondary. That young secondary has been really good, and since Cam Jordan and Chase Young have kind of started heating up, like they got a pass rush to go with it. So I don't see Bryce Young having one of his Green Bay or his Los Angeles Rams games. I don't see him throwing for 360, 400 yards in this game, but maybe they'll get a couple more points in this game than they did in the previous one. But I'm thinking it's just three each, 6 across the board. So I'm picking the Saints to win this game. It only takes the Saints to have a couple good losses, close losses or close wins before. Hey, the Saints should go 4-0 to end the season. That's definitely how it seems. But shouldn't be surprised if the Panthers come in here and show us the good Panthers. They're the cardiac cats, I guess you could say, the good version of the cardiac cats. So for my pick and score, I'm going with the Saints to win this 20-10. So it's just 3 points more than what the Saints scored in the first one, and I'm giving the Panthers 3 more points than they got in the first game as well. So 20-10, Saints win. And so yeah, I'm excited. It's nice to be excited each week, even though you've already eliminated from the playoffs. You're still excited to see what you got in all these young players, and it's not just Devin Neal. You know, it's the rookies in the secondary. Obviously, Tyler Shuck, Devin Neal, like just the whole Saints draft class really is just it's fun to tune in and watch them and see their growth and progression each week. So, man, the Saints need a couple more drafts like that, and for Tyler Shuck to actually be the guy, a franchise quarterback, just top 16. And the Saints, if they can improve on this defense and safely, I guess, replace Cam Jordan and Demario Davis and keep the defense as good as it's been here since I've fallen off as a podcaster, then I think the Saints could maybe get back on track, maybe faster than people expect, or maybe the Saints will be your odd pick, your under the radar type of pick, possible uh, get back type of team, for next season. Like you need to under the radar type of team that you need to watch. But anyway, so the Saints are playing the Saints versus Panthers at New Orleans at the Caesars Superdome. This is Sunday, December 14th, and it's at the 3:25 p.m. Central Time, 4:25 Eastern Time. So we got to enjoy Thursday night football, and we should go ahead and enjoy Sunday, the early games on Sunday, because we really just don't know how the Saints Panthers game will play out, So enjoy the football games that you got before possibly your day getting ruined. But I have a lot more confidence and faith in them now that I've seen what Tyler Shuck and Devin Neal and this young secondary can do. So I'm just more excited. I probably want those early games to just be over so I can get to see more of what the plan, and helps you build on what the plan will be for in 2026 with all those young rookies looking good. But anyways, I think that's about all I have for you. So who dat? And can I get a check, please?